And my secret is...
So whether in the office
We
or
have
at home?
more seats.
On the dance floor.
Anytime, any day.
Good afternoon. So how do you have Orbit? This is Orbit mode. No, this one is not working.
It's walking here.
Oh. Alright. Good afternoon, everybody. Please just ensure you have your seat belt fastened. Okay. Once again, good afternoon, everybody. My name here is Joseph Onasabogwe from Operations Department, the APM Terminals. So, Women is one of our Madam Omonara, which you have been dealing with for some while now. So, you are welcome on board.
Thank you, sir.
While we are on the tour, there is a terminal tour. From one point or the other, we'll be like explaining some certain things to you. APM Terminal is a container terminal operator, and they've been in Nigeria since almost like 17 years now, and they are still running on the ground. So apparently, March 2006, on March 20th, 2006, they actually started operations fully in Nigeria, Papa here. What you can see here, grass law representing different stacks. They are marked out with respective numbers for easy identifications. So, like the lines, we call them starting from the other end, A, B, C, D. So they're like A. The next one is B, and this is like 4 Delta. Then the next 4 Charlie, and they have blocks for demarcation. So at a point in time, you will get them demarcated where you have 4 Delta. You need the next should be 5 Delta, 6 Delta, respectively to the end of the lines. So what you are seeing here, they are containers. We have like 2 major containers, which is a 20-foot container. Like this one you are seeing that is a 20-foot in length, and then this very one is also like 40 foot. We might be having like 45 foot. It depends, just a little bit longer than the normal 40 foot. So the total grass lot we can accommodate at the moment is 37,000 TUs. TUs actually mean 20 foot equivalent, which is you can have 27,000 of these 20 foot in our yard as a capacity that we can accommodate. So that's what we mean. So this actually marks the end of 4 Delta, and if you look at this, the numbering, this is also 5 Delta. So it goes like that. We actually having them segregated to some extent. We have the export, we have the import food, and we also have the empties. So based on the numbering, they have different lines that accommodate all these 3 respectively. So like where we started, that point you can see, that is the in-gate. That's the first point of call when you come into the terminal as bringing a container from the road. That is the in-gate where you receive all the containers coming by trucks. So from there, when the transactions are done, then they proceed to the yard to be discharged by most of this equipment you are seeing. This is ROTG, which implies rubber tired gantry. It's one of the machines we use discharging and loading containers within the yard. So we have operator. They do the discharging. This aspect of the yard is for import containers. I guess we should know what is import. If you don't know, any container that's coming from abroad are probably bringing in goods. So they come with imports. And the one going out are export. And exporting should be in the empty, or we have export full laden, which actually has probably most of the exportations we do, like cocoa. We export cocoa in Nigeria here. So some other things like charcoals and every other thing, wood, we also export these things. Yeah, so some of them have laden full as export units. So as you can see, these trucks are actually trucks that would have come from the community which is outside the port to take delivery of their cargoes. So they lined up. Sorry, please stop with this. We all have our parents at one point where they work, right? So when they left the house, it's daddy bye bye. You also want to like see them back home, daddy welcome. So if you work in an unsafe environment, the chances for the incident to happen is on the very high side. So the port itself has a lot of those chances to happen. So if you must prevent it, it's everyone's responsibility. When you see them, you have to like, talk to them. Please go inside your respective trucks. In that way, they will get back home safe and fine for their children too. So these are some of the trucks that are already loaded. Sorry, don't worry. They were loaded, and the exit point is towards where they are directed to. However, the reason why you are seeing this is like there is a traffic at the MPA gate, which is not giving room for them to have a free flow. Otherwise, you wouldn't see this. This is like an overflow snowball into the terminal itself. When you load, the ideal thing is that when you load, you start moving out. But when there is a traffic at one end, definitely it will affect this. And this a long way. It will go a long way that it might also impact on our operations in the yard. Yeah, construction is still ongoing by my rights. These are examination grounds. Exams are buses that maybe import buses. For you to go out, for the taking out, the government has regulations that the custom of Nigeria Customs Service, their officers must like examine those containers. Is either they examine it physically or they use a machine which scan the containers to like ascertain what actually they have. If what they declared as a cargo is actually what they have, then it is the responsibility of the Nigeria Customs Service to understand that. To the other end, we have this is a railway system that at least they come to evacuate containers, they bring in export, and they also take delivery of import. If you see those, we are still working on it. You can see we have containers on them. These are actually export containers that were these are import that is being loaded at the moment. So this is a rail. They call this one narrow gauge, and they have the standard gauge one, which is in the other end of the flank of the yard. So this is a narrow gauge rail. So sometimes this one.
Can ask questions, please?
This one goes to Ijora most of the time, and what's it called? Ebute Meta here. So this is the examination. If you see that containers on the other side, as we are doing the construction, that is an examination area. You may be privy to see some people, they are doing the examinations there. So we have clearing agents that are supposed to like take at least responsibility to deliver the cargo to the owners. So they come here, they examine the containers with the customs officers. The other end, we have a scanning machine where you either depends on the channel that you want to take your container through. Is it you want to scan or you want to do physical examination? The role is for the customs to let you know which of the channels they will give you. not for you to tell them. Yes.
What area? Definition area. Like you're taking us to the definition area.
Okay, you want to know what they do in the examination area?
Yes.
Okay, fine. In exam location, what they actually do, they will drop containers. Once the custom will like giving you, these containers are going to be examined physically. It means on the ground, they could do 100% examination, which is you have to remove all the cargoes inside that container. Or they should go, and just like they pick some as samples, they examine, and they say, okay, they examine that container. What they do is to check what we have different people. We have NTLA, we have SOM, which is standard organization. Different of them, they check different likes. That SOM, we have to check what is the quality of those cargoes actually comply with us. So maybe ideally we want to see, do we have drugs as content in these containers? So the customer want to see, okay, fine. If you actually pay, for instance, we have Toyota Corolla. Is it actually the Toyota Corolla inside that container, or we have another cargo that is inside that container? Those are the things that the customer want to know. And every other agency, they want to know, and it depends on their own regulatory responsibilities. Any other thing? So, yeah, we have empty one, but this place where we are, they are actually full containers with loading cargoes. The empty one will be very close to the quayside, to the where you have ship vessels, to be precise. All right. Okay. If you're loading the containers, because of the nature of the machines that you use, it doesn't need to take this. You might have to like do some rehandling. For example, you are picking the one on the ground. So only that line, you may have to take off 3 maximum to take them out to pick the one and return the other one. Apparently, you might use like 15 minutes highest when you have so many refillable. Or otherwise, within 5 to 10 minutes, you have handled the particular container. Any other question? We're having plans to like stop at the quayside. I don't know, the control should be like the ones at the front. So here, if you can see these containers, these are reefer containers. They are not normal containers like you have been seeing. These are reefer containers. They are for frozen items. You understand? So they are plugged to electricity permanently. So that you don't, I am sure every one of us eat apple on the road. So most of these apples coming from South Africa and any other place. So you can imagine having an apple in a container. So, and if it's not like a frozen container, it means that it will, before you know it, it will have been bad. So, in that case, most of those items, there are other pharmaceutical items that need to be cold, and they are all containerized, and they use reefer type of containers. Okay?
What else? Do you have a question? Do I have to open up the container, or do I just collect it?
Alright, if you ship in a container, you want to know if you have to pay to open a container. To the terminal, no. But to the Nigeria as a whole, which is a custom officer, definitely you will make some payment. You understand? To do the examinations. Because that's where the source of revenue to the nation as well. So they need to confirm what you brought in, like as you claim to be. So is it actually what you brought in that you said you brought in? So they check all those documentations. Thank you. So this side of the other side here is also another railway here. So this is what we call the standard gauge. It's a modernized that. If you look at this one, you look at the other one, you see the two. So this one is going to as far as Ibadan and any other place. Okay? Sorry? Most times it depends on the yard strategies. Yard strategies will tell you which particular height. But for import that has cargo, apparently it cannot be more to 4 to 5 high. It should be averagely 4 high. But it depends at every point in time. It's dynamic. What do you have in the yard as a cargo, number of cargo? So you now start to look at how many highs should they go. But for safety purpose, if you see them like 5, is okay. But anything beyond that is out of place for those ones that have cargoes on it. So this is also another part of examination grant. However, when you do examination, so it is also the terminal's responsibility that the following day you have to remove or evacuate all the examined buses back to the yard where you can actually take delivery from. So here is actually the place they did the examination yesterday. Now we are trying to like remove all these cargoes back to the yard. You understand? You will stack them to the yard. From there, all the trucks coming in, they can take delivery of their cargoes. If you look at here, this side you see, it's kind of, you may call it a normal kind of cargo because they are OOGs, over gauge containers. They might be over height, they might be over width. It depends. So they actually need specific kind of transportation system. Okay, that's why you might have some things that you cannot contain within a particular bus or container. So it's an overgauge. Look at this. These are for industrial use. So they use like flat tracks, kind of platform. They call it flat track containers to move them.
Mr. Joe,
Yeah,
you
ma.
said, can anything happen to our cargo, fire or anything, or what kind of accidents can
Okay, fine.
go in
Yes,
the yard?
yes. While in the yard, there are chances for you to have fire outbreak with the cargo, but that depends on the nature of the cargo. There's what they call IMDG cargo. They are hazardous cargos. They have their various classes, but for us to prevent that, like I told you, one of the basic license for us to operate is safety first. If you must be safety conscious, it means that all these cargoes, you need to, you know the content you are carrying. We need to separate them. I think if I get anyone that has a sticker, I will show you. There are some that are compatible, there are some that are not compatible. Those ones that are not compatible, that they are kind of nature of hazardous, they are. You have to split them, you have to separate them within the yard. Otherwise, anything that happens to one has tendency to have a ripple effect on almost all the whole of the blocks. You understand? For that, you have to, they call it IMDG, some IMO segregations within the yard pattern. You're welcome. It depends on the size of the ship, it depends on the, but some of them, as big as they are, they can carry 3,000 plus of the content at once. I can guarantee you that. Alright. Yeah. We have different shipping companies operating, so they also have their own containers. Some of them might be having their containers that are customized with their own name. You understand? If you look at it, you see Hapag-Lloyd, right? Hapag-Lloyd actually operated by Hapag-Lloyd shipping company. But if you look at the other one, there is no name to reflect that. So it's more or less like we have generic ones that anybody can lease and use. But there are some that are particular. Okay? I think we might have the opportunity to like come down to this end where we are here. This is the seaside of the yard where we have the ship. We call it vessel most cases, but for you, you might call it ship coming to discharge these containers. From this wall to the end of the length is 1,005 meters. 1,005 meters long, where we have ships coming to berth. Okay, so the length of ship averagely, you may have a 250 length overall. So it means that we operate 3 operational berths. There are chances for us to like do more, but we do 3 operational berths for now. So So this is bed 15.
Explain what berth is. If you don't know what you're
Okay,
saying,
the bed simply means the space allocation for a particular ship, a particular vessel. So we like kind of have a demarcation to, like, from here to this leg is berth, one berth. The other one is another berth. So what you are seeing here, this is not ship. They call it, it's just more like a platform. We call it a barge. Barge is a platform that is propelled by another tugboat, which is a machine. So it's propelled by a tugboat, and that tugboat will just be behind, if you look at right, to push it from one terminal to another, to this terminal, to offload either the empties, export, and as well load import on it. What you are seeing here is called MH Mobile Harbor Crane. It's used to discharge containers and load containers from ship to the terminal itself. To my right is the empty side of the yard. This line down is the empty containers that we do it in such a way, it's a strategic plan in such a way that it's closer to the vessel. When we are loading from here, it's just like a flag down to the vessel. So it's very fast to load. But while the other side will take import downward.
so for the empties, we can stack up to 7.
We can start to 6, 7.
6, 7.
So, but the stacking out to 6, 7 is also like, not like a pyramid kind of. You do it in like a step way. If you look at it, there's every step to it. We were stacking like a normal regular stack until we started having wind causing havoc and they were falling off. So if you must prevent that, you try as much as possible to stack in this direction, this manner. Yeah, every container has tail weight limitation. There's a particular, it's just like if you want to enter a lift, for instance, they will tell you no more than 10 people. Are you getting me? That's the weight limitation of that. So containers also have a weight. There is a normal weight for a container, which is like about 2.3 metric tons. But once the cargo is there, you can have 21 metric tons, you can have 25 metric tons. But there is a safe lifting weight on that container platform. If you go towards container, you will see one plate. They will give you all the specifications that is required. You understand? It's not a ship, but it's pushing. Most times when this platform is about to leave, which is a barge, it is a stock responsibility to push, propel it to move. The platform itself cannot move, but tug is always behind it. That is a tug, and this is a barge. So apparently this is supposed to be bed 7. There's a ship coming in by 1500 hours today, which is by 3 p.m. At the moment, the vessel is working. The name of the vessel is the Mas Kubango. So every shipping line also has their own vessel. This belongs to our our sister's company, which is a Maersk Line. It's our shipping company, Maersk Kubango. They are the owner of the ship. So the mobile cranes here, they're supposed to be like 4 that are working. The first one is not working. They're supposed to be like 4. Except when they finish their own side of the work. So everyone has his own assigned job. If job instruction is completed, then that goes up. So as they work, they have a target when to complete operations. So that's what they're doing at the moment.
So that's it. Okay.
This is a mobile crane. This vessel is 257 meters
long.
long. to the width of it is about 35 meters wide. However, what you can see is what is outside. We also have the, let's say not less than 10 meters below the water you cannot see.
Boxes are still stacked inside.
There are containers that are also stacked inside. If you look at the platform of what you can see, the level of that thing, it has a hatch. Every hatch that contains maybe like hundreds of containers are hatched. So we have on the deck, we have below the deck. So when you load it below, these are the platform that you use to cover it. It's called hatch covers. The one that you see loaded there. These are hatch covers. Where you write 27, 25th. So once you load the below, then you cover it, then you start loading on top. When you also discharge, you discharge above, then you move that hatch cover before you can also work on the below. This one you're seeing is called twist lock beam. Twist lock beam, they call it a cone. When you are loading a container, for you to lap two containers together, you need to use most of those twist lock to join the two together. They could either be manual or automatic, as the case may be, depends on the ship. When we are supposed to stop at 15, probably maybe since. Yeah. Now they can't stop here because there's operation. They were supposed to stop there. I don't know why Chima was the one at the front. What do you call it? It's powered by this. They can just come back. Let them to come back. Let them stop and come back. He's talking to me. So we also have a department called asset maintenance. They're like workshop. This is where they do most of they fix the machine, they work on the machine. Anybody from science unit, right? Are you from science? Okay, engineering to be. Okay. There's most of them like preventive and there's maintenance. So preventive, okay. You look at how many hours has this motor run. So if it has run, okay, it's good for you to go and do some preventive maintenance. So they don't wait until your engine got bad, it got stuck on the road. So that's preventive. Maintenance, or maybe you walk in and eventually develop problem, you troubleshoot and you say fine, you can no longer continue. So let's take it out of the operation and work on them. Like most of these ones are preventive. So today it will not work. Until maybe when they finish tomorrow.
Apparently there's
change the plan.
I don't know, the teachers are calling back that they have to
They need to give. Okay. It depends on where they're going. There's also a closing hour for school.
Yeah.
Preventive, corrective. Corrective is where you have an issue. You need to troubleshoot. There is a problem. You do the corrective. How do they service it? Well,
we have our engineers in the house.
Engineers.
Engineers in the house.
How the service is just like if you troubleshoot an issue, a problem does not have where solved. So if you know the problem, then you get the engineers. We have experts that to make their corrective maintenance and repairs. Sorry, sister, your hands were up. The fair lady, you were about asking question. You sure? Don't look at my face, so say I changed your mind.
Hold on. Okay, no, she was acknowledging the engineer.
Oh, the engineers to be. Oh, yeah, that's good.
So we're expecting.
So do not do the engineers or the papers alone. Start making your plans. You need to do it. You only come up with inventory that could possibly do it. I don't know. Maybe a plane that will be flying with a bicycle. Is it possible? You never can say. Once again, thank you for your time. At this point in time, this is where we draw the curtain. Once again, my name is Jermaine Joseph, aka Nijo. You're welcome.
Thank you. you. Just next door, it looks as if it's here, but it's not here. We're just next door to each other. Down the test on the other side.
Go ahead.
Hello, testing. No, it's not working. What's your name, my darling? Ibioluwa. Who was the question? Jemima. It's the one I can answer. Yes. What is it?
Very, very. You may have to call Chima to find out, but Chima was actually the guy there with the
Working in space.
and he was being called by some of the teachers.
Mr. Joe.
I don't know what's happening.
Please, does aeronautic have anything to do with working in the maritime industry? Somebody who's studying aeronautic engineering, nothing to do with our maritime industry, right?
As the name implies, it's still more or less like a sister industry because that is apparently the plane and whatever.
Yeah.
But an engineer is an engineer. Your technicalities actually help you to like transmit from one skills to another. So if you come to the Nigerian cycle, most of the times, if you ask me what I read, I actually read economics education. But I'm here in industry. I'm not teaching.
Yeah.
Are you getting me?
Yeah.
So I need to do other things to like actually make me viable for where I am. It depends on what you are reading there is like a basic foundation for you. So maybe you finish from pharmacy, tomorrow you might decide not to be in the medicine industry. You understand? So it's not a limitation what you are reading today. But if you have engineering skills, it will go a long way to broaden your knowledge and what you want to do in your life.
What's the cause for the space? You should at least have swimming skills, for instance.
Yeah.
In case of any accident, that's
Okay, let me see. In the maritime industry, we have ship.
One house.
We have a ship which are vessels. And most of these vessels, some of them are owned by Navy, mostly naval craft. When you see naval craft, in every naval craft, there is tendency for you to see an helicopter on it. So that means you still have a long way to go within the same industry. You still find your skills useful. It depends. Does it make sense?
I think so. Also, to follow up on what my MD said at the opening speech, Mr. Steen, he mentioned that just because don't think about the maritime industry as just ships and vessels and all. Every career or every profession, or basically or every skill can actually be found within our industry. Like I was mentioning to Jemima, I mean, human resources are here. We have a clinic here, so we have doctors. We have lawyers here. We have engineers. So every profession, like you said, can actually fit within the maritime industry. So when I was in QC, I had no, what's the word? I had no idea that the maritime industry even existed. And I didn't even think it was a female dominated, or you can even have females within the maritime space. So I think when I started working here last year is when I realized, oh my goodness, this field is literally open to any profession, right? You don't have to be someone who's working on the vessel to work here, right? So this is also a way I think Mrs. Williams is trying to open up to second higher education to say, look, you don't always have to follow what our parents will say. Either you become a teacher, you become a lawyer, you become an architect. There's also the maritime and the blue economy, which is opening up, and there's opportunities for you in this industry. No matter what it is you study, there's opportunities for you here. Okay? Yeah.
So adding up with gender, I think we have more women here.
Yeah?
So gender sensitivity area. If you look at those cranes that come mobile harbor cranes, I can bet you we have like about 5 of our ladies.
So you see
Actually,
this crane, we have
women that actually operating them.
who are operating this crane.
So they did not just jump there. They came from, most of them came from truck driving. From truck driving, they went to reach stacker operation, went to empty handling, all those ones that handle. Then it's ROTG, robot tired gathering, down to because it's like step by step. So that's how they got there. So you can imagine that
Right.
there is no limitation for what extent you can go.
sure to remove your seatbelt and come this direction. Let's make it fast. Okay, let's come together, please. Come this way and face the other side. No, backwards. Hello. Hello. Why don't you miss us? Hello. Okay. You're not inside the ticket.
Not behind someone. Not behind someone. You're not.
Okay.
Are you good?
Yeah.
All right.
You must be fully compliant with safety regulations. Your being in the port is more or less like, I don't know what to call it, privilege. Port regulations, safety regulations, and security requires that children do not come to the port. That's because of the hazardous nature of the environment. However, you are under the guided environment where you have to be badly run. That is why you are here. On a vessel, if you must go, you must have all your PPE. You need to get a safety shoe, the vest which you have already. You also need a hat to go there. Anything short of that, nobody will grant you access. We're sorry. If we have a way to do it, we would have done it. But maybe with time, you'll get to have another opportunity. Alright, you ask a question? No, that is another port on its own. It's operated by another. It's more or less like this. I forgot what they call it, but when I remember, I'll call it. I'll let you know. They are just service boats for there, and they do more. We are into containerized business. There's a general cargos and bulk cargos. So that is what they do. I don't know the name of them, but just like another terminal on its own. Any other question? I think it's more or less question time now. Oh, yeah, go ahead with your question. Like most times when you have a car, you also have a conductor, right? Conductor has chances to drive when you are tired as a driver. So fine, we have most cases the big vessel. We may have the master, and we have another assistant. So for few cases, they only have one master, and every other crew we have them with their different designations. But one thing you must know, like this is Nigerian territorial water. The master of that vessel, the ship, does not have any right to pilot a ship down to this point. There is what they call anchorage zone, which is when they come from the overseas, they stop there. So it is the responsibility of Nigerian pilots, trained pilots, handled and managed by Nigerian Port Authority. They use their boat to go to the high sea, then take over the maneuvering from that point to the, because they actually understand the terrain much more than the masters of the vessel. Apart from the vessel, knowing the terrain, it is the core constitutional right for any country to use their pilot to bring in the vessel. So in that way, we are also making money from them. Is it clear? Any other question? All right. I am safe. Which is the master of the vessel. We have other crew members. We have the engineers. We have the cooks. We have the medical teams. Just call it.
Even though on the vessel, they make their own water themselves, right? How do they?
Most of them, they all the items they take are actually bought by the shipping lines. So at every point in time, the charterer, which is the shipping line, will get all those things supplied to the vessels. So they have, if you go there, man, you won't want to come down. I trust me, you won't want to come down. The life there is so sweet. I've been there so many times. You eat better food. Too much relax. They have places like, okay, in the vessel, they have that place they call the housing of the vessel. Actually accommodates the food, everything there is what they have. I think let me check this vessel where we have it. Okay, that's at the aft of that's the back view of it. That's where you have. So it's like the housing of his vessel, not entirely. That's where you have every other thing that is here is when you are on duty, you come and a particular vessel might have almost like 30 to not God knows the number of people that will be there working. So they are also in a different shift, morning, night, and day as the case may be. So when you are on shift, you come out. If you are not on shift, there is a life on its own out there. So you can imagine somebody staying for like 1 month, 2 months, is still on board one particular vessel on the voyage. He hasn't come back. So you should know that there is a life entirely different from what we live here too. So like Madam was saying, this is this end of it. After this point, that was actually the Dangote side of the port. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, they have no. Yeah. But at a point in time, you might not be able to. You might have a limitation because when you're on the high sea, but there is a frequency they operate, which is a radio, and they also have it's not just like normal mobile, maybe those cellular that can reach out. It depends on where they are. So otherwise, when they are a challenge, they will not be able to reach other people. That this is what they are facing. Thank you. Go on, ma'am.
You said you read
Economics education.
I read education too.
Okay.
Then I've been wondering what now led into this profession, or what brought you here? How
Okay.
you find your way into this?
Okay. Apparently, when I graduated, I served in the port. After that 1 year service, I think I got to like the place, and somehow somewhere I'm beginning to have at least experience. And when the opportunity came, I dived into it.
I think he uses a fleet pool for the.
Right?
Yes, confirm. No, he uses a fleet pool.
Yeah.
But exam is using a
the control station is being at the
maybe he's
forward.
talking about the exam.
Some at the bow, some at the forward.
Yeah,
The captain
using a
himself is
project pickup for
already
exam.
in the cabin. The cabin doesn't matter like a house, but we have a different officer. Some of us are at the front. They see physically when there is a incoming. They have their radio. They communicate with people on the deck. So we have officers around. We have engineers standing by watching what is happening to the engine. So we also have the crew agents that like watch the other vessels. So and the safety.
Anthony? Anthony Village Senior High School, year 2,
Okay,
right?
like two.
Anthony Village Senior High School, 2.
This one.
What are you writing it down? Yeah.
Teacher for Igbo College. No.
Let me give them.
Igbo College.
Yeah.
Where is the teacher?
It will be already passed, have you?
Yes.
You are food.
Yeah.